What's going on, guys? TomahawkWarrior here. I'm back bringing you another deck profile. This time we got Korvold, Faker's King, aka my Korvold Go Burr deck, aka my I Yeet my commander at you to win deck. um, so Korvold is an interesting commander. Black, red, green, and two for a flying 4/4. Uh, he does seem to have the downside and be a very bad commander at first glance because whenever he enters the battlefield, I have to sacrifice another permanent, and whenever or I attack, I have to sacrifice. And whenever I sacrifice a permanent, I put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold, and I draw. Actually, really good. Especially the way that this deck functions, because Korvold gets really big really quick, and you can use him as a draw engine to draw through your deck at a fairly brisk pace. However, most people are aware of that, and they will kill him on sight. But yeah, if he gets to live for a couple turns, he become a tremendous problem. So we'll go through the deck list. If you see a bunch of like just little cards, I'm gonna just say right now, all of them are there. Just as sacrificial cards for Korvold. Most of them have the ability to come back, like my Gutter Bones, my Sanitarium Skeleton, and my Shambling Ghast. Then we got the Mana Dorks, which you should obviously know what they are: Elvish Mystic, Land of War Elves, etc., etc., etc. So if I don't talk about them, that's why. So, Korvold, Commander, duh. Mox Amber. Once we get Korvold on the field, it gives us another source of mana. I can sacrifice it, and it didn't cost me anything. Yay. Conjure Familiar works with Witch's Oven to give Korvold 2/+1 counters that turn. Blood Fountain, enters the battlefield, create a treasure, blood token, sacrifice a blood token, pay 3 in a black, tap, sacrifice Blood Fountain, return up to 2 target creatures from my graveyard to my hand, so it brings back all my sacrificial outlets. So you got 1 copy of Falmer Knight, Gutter Bones, Chaos Ghost Form, sometimes you put on Korvold, normally you don't put on just anything else, so it brings it back. Persistent Specimen, Sanitarium Skeleton, Shambling Ghast, Viltrite. You know, we want cards to die in this deck, so 100% I will sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. Elvish Mystic, Land of War Elves, Open the Gates. Yeah, it's a 1 cost. Look for another land card. 100% helps fixing your mana in the deck. Witch's Oven sacrifices creatures. Also, it's a great out for when people throw an enchantment on Korvold. That'll like pacifism or something that just won't allow him to attack or reduces his power and toughness down to 1. Sacrifice him to Witch's Oven, put him back in the command zone, and recast him so it frees up your commander. Blood Artist, we want things to die. Things are going to die because Korvold's attacking or entering the battlefield. Blood Artist will help us shoot down our opponents. Hobbling Zombie, Direfeed Hoarder, creates treasure when it dies. Discord Piper creates a goat when it dies. Doom Descenter creates a zombie when it dies. Dreadhorde Invasion, kind of a weird card to have in the deck. However, at the beginning of my upkeep, I lose a life and I amass ones, which is great. So I have something to always sacrifice. So these zombie tokens, and then should those tokens get going, whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until the end of turn. So if I get this card out turn 2 and I don't get Korvold out quickly, then I will get a power 6 zombie eventually that has lifelink. So then I'll just keep it around to be a 6/6 zombie. For your young, put any number of target creatures from your graveyard on top of your library, draw a card. So this allows me to go back and get whatever I need that I've discarded. If it's my Direfleet Hoarder for treasure, if it's my Blood Artist to ping my opponent, if it's whatever I need. Great card. Graveyard Marshal creates zombie, Infernal Grasp, boost your life, pay 2 mana, destroy target creature. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name. Reaver. It amasses, so it gives me a sack outlet, or it gives me a card to sacrifice, sorry. Order Midnight returns a card from the graveyard to my hand, and then it's just something to be sacrificed. Or Zarvin Fulsur, Priest of Forgotten Gods. This card's in here for with a massive love-hate relationship with this card. Super broken in standard. It's here because it gives me the opportunity to sack things and force my opponent to sack. And then when that happens, I do have 2 black mana floating, and I draw a card. So not bad, but 9 times out of 10 is just used as another sack card. Reassembling Skeleton, because duh. Fling. OP card of this deck. Costs 1 and a red. As additional cost, the spell sacrifice creature, aka Korvold. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to any target. So you get Korvold up to 13. You pay the 2 mana. You throw them at your opponent. You win. Guess what? This deck never does that. Normally, with all these cheap cards to cost in cards like Circon, Red, Blood Artist, etc., 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 you're going to be picking your opponents down pretty quickly. So you only need Corvold to get to an 8/8 or like a 7/7 before you can just fling him at your opponent for game. So yeah, this card is amazing in this deck. Drew the Cowl, Mana Dork, Explore, play additional land, draw a card. Uh, yeah, the giant tree, it's a Mana Dork. Incubation Druid, it's a Mana Dork, Mana Dork, Mana Dork. Dread Horde Butcher, because why would you not have this card in your deck? Has haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 on it. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So this will help me get rid of a card that my opponent is either not attacking with to keep it prevent it from dying. If it has a passive effect, and as it attacks, it just starts to ramp up. So try to get this card out early, and it'll become a problem your opponent has to deal with more so than Corvold. And then when it dies, it does damage. Skull Prophet is a mana dork. Goblin Archromancer, kind of a mana dork, makes things cheaper to cast. Signet, it's a mana dork. It's a mana dork. Whatever. Milestone, same thing. They both tap for mana. Bastion of Remembrance, another great card to have in the deck for whenever a creature you control dies, aka Corvold does anything. Your opponent loses a life, you gain a life. Hooray! Makes it heals us while killing our opponents. Black Market Connection, another pretty good card in the deck because it will create a treasure token. Use that to sacrifice for mana. Gives Korvold a +1/+1. Draw a card. You lose 2 life. Not a big deal. Korvold wants to draw. And then Higher Mercenary, you could create a 2/3 color shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. I lose 3 life, which would give me another thing to sacrifice. You're normally not going to do all 3 in the same turn. Normally, you're just going to create a treasure token or draw a card or both. But it does have the ability to do a lot of really cool things with the Korvold sack outlet. Murderous Rider, because dealing with big scary creatures is hard. Gardak, the Crown Scourge. Massive 5/4 flying creature. However, it can't attack unless I control 4 more artifacts. That's going to be my mana rocks or treasure tokens. He will eventually get to start swinging. However, one thing to note is he can't block, or he can't attack. Sorry, he can still block. So this is a great card to get down early, and just have a 5/4 defender basically be like, bro, come at me. Cranko, Tin Street Kingpin. The reason this Cranko's in the deck and not the other one is because whenever he attacks, I put a +1/+1 counter on him, and then create a number of 1/1 red goblin tokens equal to his power. So if I can get him out early enough, he can create me a little goblin army that I can use to sacrifice to Korvold. More times than not, he's going to come in, he's going to attack once, die on that attack, and just give me 2 tokens that I can use to sacrifice later to Korvold. But he could get out of control if he starts getting going and gets cast early enough. Mayhem Devil. This deck, if you didn't realize, is about sacrificing creatures. So why not have Mayhem Devil deal 1 target to any target when that starts happening? We got Rakdos and Golgar Lockets for mana. Orcan Assassin, Death Touch. All creatures able to block this assassin do. This is a really fun way to get damage to with either Cranko or what's his name? Shoot. The Dread Horde Butcher, because your opponents are forced to block this one assassin. So if they have just their commander on the field, attack with it. They're forced to block with their commander. It kills it. This card's really fun. And yeah, worst case scenario, an absolute worst case scenario, I just sacrifice him to Korvold. Sevi Hunter. Whenever Sevi Hunter attacks or blocks, create a food token. Sacrifice 2 food tokens. Draw a card. So it gives me something to sacrifice with Korvold and food tokens, and then it will sacrifice them itself to draw a card, which will then give me +1/+1s on Korvold. Fantastic. Dromia, Anarchabolus, creatures that get +1/+1. Fantastic. +1, I get to add red or green. Creature spells cost 2 chaos. Creatures spells you cast this turn can't be countered, which is fantastic. So if I have her on the field plus her up, use that mana to help me pay for Korvold. Korvold can't be countered. And then her -2, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. That's great. Have a big, strong 8/8 Korvold fight whatever the hell my opponent has and get rid of it. Gruul Locket, not sure why it's not with the other Lockets, but we don't ask questions. Extinction Event. This is fantastic for board wipes. You choose odd or even, exile each creature with mana value of the chosen quality. So this can get rid of tokens, can get rid of anything. However, one of the great things about it being the way it's written, you can use it because Korvold is an odd number of mana. So you can blow up the board of everything but Korvold, have just Korvold, and then attack with him. Neat way of getting around people's boards. Pitiless Plunder, whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Things die a lot in this deck, so he's a really good card to have. The Apocalypse. This card is secretly amazing. It's a 4/5 Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Guess what? Korvold is a draw engine. You're going to be gaining a lot of life, which helps to balance out the other cards that cost life to use. Obviously, we're going to have 1 black market in the deck. Whatever creature dies, put a charge counter on black market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add black mana for each charge counter on black market. Yeah, a lot of stuff's going to die, so this can get out of control really quickly. Or not so much out of control, it'll just give you an infinite amount of mana really quickly. Revel in Riches, because this is a sack deck, and and it will generate quite a bit of treasure pretty quickly. Revel in Riches auto include in it. Whenever an opponent's creature an opponent controls dies, you create a treasure token at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. So, like I said, there are ways to create treasure tokens in this deck. And then, yeah, things are going to die with Korvold being on the field, so might as well have this. You're probably never going to win the game, though, with the treasure generated from Korvold. But it is a neat way to get treasure out that you could use to sacrifice, either to play another creature or just sack it so you can attack with Korvold and not have him kill something that you really care about. Sir Conrad is an auto include in this deck. Whenever another creature dies, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. So I'm gonna be sacrificing stuff. My opponent's gonna be losing stuff. Sir Conrad's gonna shoot and help me kill my opponent. All the more quicker. Words are hard. Goldspan Dragon. Sorry. 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasures you have tap, sacrifice this artifact at 2 mana of any 1 color. So, fantastic card to have along with Korvold because this will draw attention away from Korvold because it makes just so much treasure. And that treasure then gets sacrificed for 2 mana instead of 1. This is, like I said, a great way just to draw attention away from Korvold and will help me just start ramping in the deck even quicker. So if you can get Korvold out and this card out on the field, you're in a really good position. Rapturous Dragon, when it's battlefield, create 2 treasure tokens, and then it's a 3/3 with flying. If I can, I played this before. I play Korvold, and then I sacrifice the treasure. It does suck to sacrifice treasure, but it's better than sacrificing things you care about. Or you can sacrifice the dragon, depending on how much you hate dragons. Liliana Dreadhorde General Sheik. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. Fantastic. Create a 2/2 black zombie token for a +1. -4, each player sacrifices 2 creatures. And then -9, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. So if she gets to her -9, you win the game. She creates 2/2 zombies for me to sacrifice to Korvold. And then her -4 is each player sacrifices 2 creatures. So that will work with Korvold's effect. So you play this card, minus her down 4. Your opponent sacrifices 2 things they care about. You sacrifice 2 things you don't care about, and Korvold gets 2 +1/+1 counters on him. Fantastic. Casualties of War, removal for anything that's a problem. Destroys an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker all at once. So kills your opponent's important things. Moving on to lands, we got 10 swamps, 6 mountains, and 9 forests. We are a little short on mountains, however, we don't really need that many. A majority of this deck is black and green mana. So we do have mountains in here just because we do have the occasional odd red card, but we do have things. We do have multicolored lands that are mountains, so you should be fine with a small amount of mountains. Uh, we have Blightstep Pathway, Blood Crypt, Haunted Ridge, Darkborn Pathway, Deathcap Glade, Overgrown Tome, Crag Crown Pathway, Rockfall Vale, Stomping Ground, Command Tower, Reliquary Tower, and Treasure Vault. Treasure Vault in here again as a way to generate more tokens, treasure tokens. Like I said, you could potentially win the game with treasures, but probably not going to happen. But it's nice just to have it in case. Also, if need be, sacrifices generates a bunch of things that you can then sacrifice to Korvold. So that is the deck. We got 38 creatures and 37 lands. So let's see how the deck performs, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. All right. So what do we got here? We got Soul of the Windgrace, black, red, green. Okay. 2 forests, a swamp, open the gates, hobbling zombie, arcane signet, Sir Conrad. Actually, not a bad hand. So play that. Immediately open the gates. Go get a land. We need a red mana. It's a pretty decent turn one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 mana short of being able to cast Korvold on curve. Okay, so play the swamp, play the signet. Pass. Drawing Fling was actually pretty good because I don't think I have to get Korvold up to 13 and then I can just fling him. Or it'll depend on how low he gets, but that Fling's probably going to come in handy at some point during this game. Don't know when, but it's going to be good. Okay, just wait to see what he does. So I can at least sacrifice the zombie when Korvold comes in, and it will create tokens, so I can actually keep those around to sacrifice to Korvold. Sir Conrad is going to be pretty good if I can get him out after I get out Korvold. Because every time I want to do anything with Korvold, I'm going to have to sacrifice, so Sir Conrad will ping this guy down for 1. Yeah, I play Korvold here. And so I was trying to think, because I'm like, I could be greedy and go for an additional 1 damage, but I'd rather have 5 damage coming from Korvold by an attack rather than just pinging him down for 1. Okay. Sacrifice the zombie. Zombie dies. Gives me a token. I get a +1. Okay, next turn I play Sir Conrad. And we get to do some fun stuff. Problem is I don't have any other things that I can really sacrifice that aren't lands. Soul of Windgrace. Attack, can we put a land card from the battle? Okay. Okay. So this guy's just gonna just dump out a bunch of mana, which is always terrifying. So cast Sir Conrad here. Also, because he's a 4/5, I can actually block his commander, which might actually come in handy. I will just decline to pay the 2 for that. I don't need to 1 mana open. Attack with Korvold. Sacrifice the token. Sir Conrad will ping him for 1. Korvold will get +1/+1, so it'll be a 6/6. Oh, that was a good pull. I forgot also when Korvold does that, he also draws a card. That was a good pull, the Bastion, because that also generates a token for me and will help start pinging him down. So I don't have to get Korvold up to 13/13. Hopefully by the time I'm ready, I only have to fling him when he's at 8 power or 9. maybe 10. We'll see. So I do have enough mana next turn to play my Locket and the Bastion, which is awesome. Times tracker. Okay. Erland. Okay. Um, thinking. Yeah, I will block. I think is the right play. I do lose Sir Connor after that, but more importantly, his commander goes back to the command zone. And he's probably going to want that commander out. So hopefully this puts him back a turn, because he's going to have to recast his commander. Okay. So he gets 2 more lands. It's kind of annoying. He's got some options here. Okay. So my now I don't have anything to sacrifice to Korvold. It's kind of annoying. So I will play the Locket. Oh, never mind. I have my Bastion, which is going to create me a token. Never mind. So yeah, that comes in, creates me a token. Just have to wait another. Well, we'll see how much I can sacrifice, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait another 3 turns before I can just yeet Corvold at my opponent. All right. Boom. Actually, so next turn, I can kill him with my commander. Assuming nothing terrible goes on. If he kills Corvold, I'm sad. He's got draw power, or he's got things that'll let him draw. Hmm. Alright, he recasts his commander, as expected. Let's investigate again. Migration path, okay. Well, everything on his side of the field is tapped. I'm wondering what he intends to do. There's no mana open. Okay. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I just win here. Like, I'm trying to think, what can he do to stop me? I'm gonna create an additional red land just in case somehow he manages to blow up one of my lands. Alright, so we go to combat. I attack with Korvold. I'll sacrifice the Arcane Signet. At this point, it really doesn't matter. Because, like, I'm going for game here, so it really doesn't matter. Alright. Punch. Okay, yeah. And that should be game, because he's completely tapped, so target him. I sacrifice Korvold. And sure, put him back in the command zone. I yeet my commander at my opponent for game. Let's go. Best way to win a game, but dude, GG's. Ready up. All right, we got Old Rustin. Hmm. Why does that name seem familiar? Is that the Rat Commander? I don't know. Okay, so we got 2 forests and a mountain. I don't. I don't know if this hand's gonna work. I like a swamp. Really want a swamp because I could play the specimen early. However, I'm gonna keep it because I do have the Paradise Druid, which will top for any color, and I do have Casualties of War, which is a really powerful card. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so we got the sacks for Korvold with Persistent Specimen and Sanitarium Skeleton. So that's good. Got an Explorer. Um, Turns from the graveyard to my hand. Alright, perfect. So we played the Explorer, drew a card, and got another land. Um, yeah, I'll play this one just because it has 2 toughness. It doesn't matter against that creature because that creature has Death Touch. But we'll make it work. I did it because it has 2 toughness. That way, if he creates tokens or anything and they're 1/1s, like he does, then I can use that skeleton to block them. So I will play the dragon. I know he's not going to do anything for a turn or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, but at least get him out on the field so I have something to block with. Because while he can attack, he can block, which is the key word in all this. He can block. And then once I get Korvold out, he'll start making me some treasure, and we'll go from there. So I just need another land, and I can play Korvold. Bum bum bum. Alright, so he's thinking on his plan. So if I can get another land that's black, I play Korvold. Following turn, I can play the Apocalypse, and then I can play Casualties of War. Okay, see, that sucks, the black market, because it's going to trigger off every time I sacrifice one of my creatures, which is whenever I do anything with Korvold. So that black market has to go. Um, since I have the choice, I will get rid of the specimen because this will return to the battlefield tapped. I don't need it to come in untapped. I just need it on the battlefield so I can sacrifice it. Yeah, like I said, that's gonna become problematic. He's just gonna be able to wild out with that, so I gotta get rid of it. Just really happy I kept onto this hand because Casualties of War work great against that, so I can ping one of the treasures, the black market, his commander, and the land. And a planeswalker now. Perfect. I think it was in the permanent if you do you're gonna load treasures with mana convert. Oh. Ah. That sucks. I had plans for that dragon. But yeah, however, he did make me a treasure, which is kind of all he needed to do. So now I have my 2 black that I need 2 black mana so that I can. Okay. Sorry, I was like, how? Yeah, that's an 8/8. Okay, so never mind. All right, so plans change. We're gonna blow up Planeswalker, Black Market, that creature, and the other land and a creature because I'm not letting him have an 8/8. That is scary. So get rid of that. Get rid of his black market. We'll get rid of Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and we'll get rid of that Planeswalker. Badoom. All right, I can still attack with Korvold as well, and I'll sacrifice my skeleton to draw. That was a good draw. We got another black land, and it's not going to come in tapped, which is huge. All right, so we'll see what he does. So I think I get. Oh, okay. Well, that completely changed my whole plan of what I was gonna do. I have to recast Corville now. I do have enough mana to do it. However, if I do that, I don't get to do what I want to. So I think it's better to play um the Apocalypse here. So that way he'll start losing life and I can just use this turn to ramp. So this way next turn I should be able to play Corvold and I should be able to play one of the 2 skeletons that I have from and that way Corvold will come in, kill one of them rather than one of my mana dorks. Okay. I'm also not too worried about his board because there's nothing that really scares me at the moment. And this is going to be huge, is keeping that card on the field. Um, just counting out my mana. Yeah, okay, so I do have enough to do this. So I can play that guy, play Korvold. Korvold to come in. I sacrifice the skeleton. Apocalypse triggers with Korvold. I gain 2 life. And I drew Sir Conrad. That's amazing. So there's no point in attacking because he still does have his one dude with Death Touch. And I don't want to lose my 4/5 yet. It's going to help ping him down. So I think next turn I play Sir Conrad and one of my 2 skeletons. And I think that'll be a really hard board for him to break. And he plays Sir Conrad as well. Okay. That's annoying. Um, so I'll play the Incubation Druid. I should have enough mana to do this. It will also tap for another black, which is going to be pretty crucial here. I changed my mind. Yeah, no, I'm just going to play... I'm going to wait a turn on Sir Conrad. The reason I did that is because with Cranko out on the board, it will give me another blocker that I don't mind sacrificing to him. Where I don't really want Sir Conrad out yet. I think is the correct play here. So my thought process is just like, okay, I could have played Sir Conrad, would have helped, or I could have just got the ramp, got like cards that are gonna help me going forward. If I have to swarm, which is what I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna have to do to go for game, is just like swing with Kranko and his Goblin token, swing with Korvold, and just make sure I can end the game here. Okay. Really glad I did that. Because again, I don't mind sacrificing Kranko here. I would hate to sacrifice Sir Conrad. Alright, so we're just gonna block tokens because I don't want him to somehow buff up his commander with some random I gain 2 power and I lose something I care about spell. So we'll block those 3 tokens. His commander and his end raise forerunner will hit me, which is fine. So now we got a bunch of Sir Conrad triggers. And that should be game. So I'll play my Sir Conrad now just to flex. And I attack with Korvold. I'll sacrifice my Land War Elves. And yeah, that should be game. And I drew a Blood Artist. Alright. GG, dude. That was a good game. Alright, next game. We got what do we got? We got Cyrith the Fang's Fang. Mono green. Ooh, okay. Alright, so what do we got? We got Command Tower, Deathblade, Gutter Bones. I can make this work just because we have the Mind Stone and we have the Rakdos Locket. As well, we do have Revel and Riches in our opening hand and Gutter Bones. So we have a turn 1 play, we have Ramp, and then we have something to end off on with Revel and Riches if we can't get to Korvold as quickly as we need to. But we should be able to turn 1, 2... Turn 3, we should have 4 mana. If I draw land here, turn 3, we have 4 mana. If I don't draw land here, it's going to take an extra turn. Which will not be great, but, I mean, stuff happens, right? And we didn't draw land. Sad. Alright, so now this comes in tapped. Nothing ideal with that. However, Gutter Bones is a 2/1, so I do get some early damage in. Surprised the green player didn't have a turn 1 play. That's kind of odd, but I digress. Plays an Evolving Wilds. Okay. Why would he have Evolving Wilds in that deck? If it's mono green. Hmm. So open the gates. I'll go grab a land. Make sure it's red because I've done that before where I've gone and not gotten a red or a black when I really needed it and got a green instead. So now with the command tower, in my other land, I have all three colors. Got my Mind Stone out. Next turn, I can play the Rakdos Locket, and I'll need one more mana, and I can cast Korvold. If I draw a land this turn that's coming up, I'll play the Rapturous Dragon. If not, I'll play the Locket. So I'll kind of see what I pull in my next draw. Okay, so he plays this thing. Okay, so we're both doing the ramp game. All right. I know I just said that what my plan was, but I think it's better actually just to get Korvold out as fast as possible because I had Gutter Bones on the field already. I don't have Gutter Bones on the field. I do my original plan, but just because I had him on the field, 100% get Korvold out as quick as possible. Always the best play you can make in the deck. And because he's mono green, I don't think he's gonna have very many answers or outs to Korvold. It's not blue where you can one mana unsummon it. It's not black where pay 2 mana, lose 2 life, and destroy target creature. And I'm trying to think what green removal there is. Green does have some removal and like destroy target creature with flying, but it's such a niche card. I doubt he'll have it in his deck. If he does, props to him. So I'll play the dragon. Dragon creates 2 treasure tokens. I'll use one of those treasure tokens to cast my Leafkin Druid, and then the other one I'll sacrifice to Korvold so he can attack. My opponent seems to be debating. Really good draw. Casualties of War. Okay, so I got pretty much everything I should need in my hand. I got my Revel and Riches, Casualties of War, and I still have my Locket that I haven't cast yet. So attack with Korvold. We'll sacrifice the treasure. Draw a card. We'll go from there. Another land. Perfect. I find with Korvold, once you get Gutter Bones, or any of the other skeletons in the deck, where they could just bring themselves back, you kind of want just land for a little bit so you can ramp and do whatever it is you need to do with the deck, be it get out like Revel and Riches, get your Casualties of War, whatever. Your Korvold turns into a bit of a draw engine, which is awesome. So having the lands to continuously just play the big spells in the deck is nice. So, okay. He's got a 3-2 out now. So he takes 10 damage this turn. This game's starting to get out of control pretty quick. Which is what I love about the Korvold deck, the way that I play it at least, is that it's fast. Normally. Which means that fortunately, most of the games where I'm going on curve, Korvold, my opponents just tap if they can't deal with it. It's really rare where you get like one of these really long drawn games, but those are also pretty fun. Oh, yeah, it's a good way to deal with that. I had plans for that dragon. Um, play the locket. I think I play my Falmer Knight to draw a card. I could be really rude, play Casualties of War, kill his one dude, his Arcane Signet in a land, and kind of cripple the deck. But I don't feel like being that big of a prick, so I'll just use this to draw. I have 2 open mana, so I'll play the Falmer Knight, use that to sacrifice to Korvold. Um, we'll use this to go grab back the dragon. And then next turn, I'll cast the dragon again. So I'll sacrifice the Falmer Knight. Does leave me kind of open, but it's fine. I don't think he has the ability to kill me next turn. Even if he draws a classification and casts it on his Dude, it'll only be 23 damage, so I should still live. Well, actually, no, he would win if he punched me with his Dryad as well. But that's assuming he has it in his hand and drew it. So it's maybe a bit of a misplay to have left myself completely open like that, but eh. We're playing Korvold. Korvold attacks. Korvold doesn't think. Hmm. See what he does. He's got 5, 6, 7, 8 open mana right now. So he can make a huge play if he wanted to, or if he has the cards in hand. Be interesting to see what he does. I also just realized his card sleeves look like they're Simic, yet he's playing on mono green. I don't know if they are Simic card sleeves, but I just noticed that and it's funny to me. You're playing mono green, dude. Come on. Get those Vivian sleeves. We all have them. Okay, so is he thinking or is he just stalling time because he knows he's lost? It is annoying when people do this and they just stop playing and then they'll wait till the timer gets low, play a card, wait till it gets low, play a card. It's really frustrating because they're hoping that you will just surrender because you don't want to waste your time. But I mean, I'm winning this game, dude. I'm gonna stick around. So you might as well just make your turn. All right, so he attacks with both creatures. That's fine. I draw. I get a land. Play that. Play the dragon. I can use one of the treasures to sacrifice to Korvold. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 land open. So I can play the Revel in Riches. I can play a cat. Okay, he surrenders. Okay. GG, dude. Good game. Alright. What are we doing in this game? We got God of Destiny. Oh my god, dude. This deck is so good. Okay, what do we got? We got Swamp, Land, Hobbling, Milestones, Heavy Hunter, Extinction Event. This is actually a really solid hand. We got the Hobbling Zombie early game. We got a Mind Stone, so we get some ramp. We got a board wipe, and then we got Savvy Hunter for a little bit later in the game. And we get a command tower. Let's go. Um, yeah. Trying to think. Do I want to go for early damage or mana? I think getting some early damage in is gonna be pretty good. Because I know what that deck can do, I want to get damage in as quick as possible because he's gonna be pumping out damage, or not necessarily damage, but just you know things as fast as possible. Uh, yeah, that I may have misclicked there. That's why I didn't go. If someone's gonna say, "Why did you go to your attack step? Because you just talked about getting damage out." Yeah, I misclicked. Sorry. Um. Okay, so I can get Korvold out on curve, which is fantastic. Sacrifice the Zombie, which gives me a token for next turn. Okay, we're doing good. Like everything right now is happening on curve, so that's good. Yeah, he does get rid of that, and I get shot for my effort. However, he has no creatures though, so that's not a creature, which is huge right now. Alright, so next turn I can play my Savvy Hunter and my Incubation Druid on the same turn, which is gonna be really, really huge. Incubation Druid's gonna allow me to continue the ramp, and then Savvy Hunter will give me tokens for later on when Korvold eventually gets killed. Or when Korvold's going to attack, sorry. And then Incubation Druid, the ramp is for when Korvold dies, and I require more mana. Okay, so you got 2 forests. That's fine. Okay. Ooh. That changes things. Okay, yeah, so never mind. I'm not playing the Druid or the Hunter. Play the Dragon. Because whenever it attacks, I get treasure, which is huge. I will sacrifice the zombie. Gets a +1 on Korvold. Draw a forest, okay. So we got all the land that we should need for the next few turns, which is huge. And then this dragon attacking with Korvold is massive because it's just gonna allow me to just pump damage out so fast. It's gonna be interesting to see if he's what he can do against it. So I'm just trying to think: do I want to play my incubation druid here or my savvy hunter? I will have to sacrifice the token, which should be okay because it will give me a +1/+1 on Korvold and draw. But I draw to a Dreadhorde Butcher right now, which is fantastic because his board is completely empty. So unless he plays some creatures, Dreadhore's coming out next turn and starting to attack. And then once he gets big enough, I'll sacrifice him with Korvold, and I should be able to win the game off of that. Combine his power combined with Korvold's damage. Unless he gets some flyers out and or kills Korvold. Which, I'm expecting any turn now. But who knows? We're gonna do what we can with Korvold till then. So he's got a floating green. Oh. Huh. Yeah, that just happened. Okay. Alright, I did get Fling this turn, which is huge. His Hydra doesn't have reach, so he can't deal with Korvold. Um, Play the Incubation Druid. Trying to think. I do have enough. Trying to think how I'm going to do this. I think I only need to attack with Korvold. I'll sacrifice the Dreadhorde Butcher, which will ping him for 1. Korvold will become an 8/8, so it'll go down to 16. And then I can fling him at my opponent. So that should be game right there, unless he somehow blocks or kills Korvold, which shouldn't be able to happen because he's no mana. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I was right. That is game. Then we play Fling, target him, sacrifice Korvold, and that is game. Dude, deck this deck gameplay just turned into a just yeet your commander at your opponent for game. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Alright guys, so there you have it. The deck profile for Korvold, Faker's King, as well as some gameplay. Like I said, guys, fantastic commander to have. I think in every game though he did die at least once, so yeah, you don't get to play with him too much, but yeah, he has a huge impact when he comes in. Like I said, some of the OP cards for the deck being Fling, because that ability just to take a 8/8 creature and just talk about your opponent is fantastic. And I think it's a really funny way to win a game. Please join me in my petition to get Fling's name changed to Yeet, because I think that would just be a better name for the card. Just yeet him at your opponent. And then, like I said, cards like Reassembling Skeleton, where even once they've been sacrificed from the field, you can just bring them back once you have the mana. They're just fantastic sack outlets. So yeah, that is the like I said, that's the deck profile, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.